tension is just beginning. Just a minute, ladies and gentlemen. I think something is happening.
Here is a fear-frenzied moment of suspense.
Johnny, are humans just collectively dumb? Are we collectively dumb, Johnny? Well, I think we are. Even though we're supposed to be a bloody, an intelligent species, over the last 100 years or so, we've continually done things that are fucking stupid. What do you mean by that? Jesus Christ! Well, yeah, when you put it like that. You've got to ask, Johnny, what's the world collectively been doing to find itself in a shitty position that we are in 2022? Well, we had the big wars last century, the big wars, and after World War II especially, Johnny, everyone worked together and built up a cohesive society. There were a few threats, of course, nuclear war being one of them, but generally, everyone worked together and it just seems we seem to be fucking the place up. But the thing about all these bloody decisions being made over the last 100 years or so, Johnny, they're made by people who won't be affected by the actual decisions they're making. Well, I suppose that's true. Yeah, I mean, it's great to have a big bloody global warming conference and all that sort of stuff in Paris in 2015, but all the people who were there, all the people making the decisions of what was going to happen, they wouldn't be really affected by the decisions they're making.
At the Paris Climate Conference in December 2015.
Yeah, I don't see this bloke having trouble paying his electricity bill.
Regarde la salle, je vois que la réaction est positive, je n'entends pas d'objection. L'accord de Paris pour le climat est accepté.
Oh, he's a bloody billionaire. Yeah, I don't see this bloke having trouble paying his electricity bill.
Mr. Speaker, this morning I had meetings with ministerial colleagues and others in addition to my duties in this House. I shall have further such meetings later today.
Oh, he's wealthy.
To make it safe for people in my generation. First, let's say Medicare does not now go broke in 2001. It's got 12.
Oh, he's wealthy.
Last best hope of Earth. We ask you to protect it.
Oh, he's bloody wealthy.
Regulars like Angela Merkel and Bill Gates will check in from around the world, as well as Vladimir Putin, Prime Ministers of India, Japan, Spain, Greece, Israel, Singapore, Presidents of France, Korea, Argentina, South Africa, Secretary General of the United Nations, Director General of the World Health Organization.
Well, yeah, they are all wealthy now you mention it.
When Blair was given a knighthood in 2022, tradition for former PMs, he was widely branded a war criminal by the British left.
Oh, he's bloody wealthy.
There's never been a more divisive or contentious figure in British politics as the Iron Lady.
Oh, she's wealthy. You think this bloke has ever bloody had to struggle in the last 50 years?
Hello everyone, happy Canada Day!
Oh, he's wealthy.
6 people have been Australian Prime Minister over the last 12 years. After the election on May 18, that number could go up to 7.
Do you think they're going to be worried about paying for fresh food?
Let me say this simply and clearly. We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by God. You know the thing. You know how we talk about it. Are we the people, folks?
Oh, he's bloody wealthy. Yeah, Johnny, are you saying that the wealthy make decisions that don't affect them? Is that what you're saying? So after all the last century's struggles and everything, you end up with populations that are living like this.
Liz Wright is 65 years old. She has known tough times before.
You always worked?
Yeah, I need to bring money in.
But nothing quite like this, where her bills are too big to bear, her wage as a cleaner barely buying the basics.
Oh, prices has gone way out of control.
At the South End Senior Center in Hartford, Connecticut, rising prices have seniors like 67-year-old Hyacinth Yenny feeling the burn.
You look at your electrical bill, you look at your gas bill, you look now, especially now, food bill. It's ridiculous.
I like hamburger.
Retired utility worker Mark DeMeo.
It's up $1 a pound, so I cut back.
Are you worried about any of this?
Yeah, really worried. Yeah. I don't want to burden my family. My daughter comes once a fortnight for something to eat. and she has to bring the food.
Report on inflation tomorrow. And once again, many economists believe the spike in prices is going to be quite high compared with a year ago. Inflation's bite has been particularly pronounced with some groups of Americans. That includes seniors living on fixed incomes and millennials who had already lost ground during the financial crisis and the Great Recession.
At the start, we saw a lot of people who were pensioners and on benefits. That has totally swung the other way. 50% of those people are people in work. It's in-work poverty. We've got people who are on 16 hours a week work, on paramedics, teachers, people who are frontline.
Paramedics and teachers use this.
Absolutely. And there's no slack in them budgets to pick up any of the extra costs.
It's hard to overstate just how scared some people are right now. That fear of simply not knowing where the money's going to come from.
Now, Johnny, if you told all the people back in the 50s and 60s way back then that in 2022 the world's going to be all fucking freezing during the winter, fresh food will be in short supply, they would probably be flabbergasted. It seems we're all going to have to pull together to combat climate change.
This government, well, is a joke. It's very difficult to survive.
This wasn't here?
No, I go hungry.
You don't feel there's anyone at the top who understands this?
I don't think they care. They don't care about the worse off. They only care about big business.
It's been talking to big business. They don't feel very cared for either.
In the race to become Prime Minister, the starting pistol...
As the UK's Conservative government has gone through a huge political convulsion, we've spent a lot of the last month visiting seemingly middling, comfortably off places you wouldn't think of as being disadvantaged or left behind, but that tell us a lot about this country's endless state of crisis.
My water's been about $100 a month, but I'm hoping that goes down since I fixed the toilet.
But when you subtract his Medicare Part B premium of $170, he's underwater by more than $100 a month, sustained by SNAP benefits, food stamps. He says he can't even afford the $2 lunch at the senior center. Of course, these folks want to know just what we all do. How long will the current inflation last?
Yeah, you just can't afford a house for yourself. You can't afford to feed your family properly. I mean, what sort of a bloody outcome has that been? Are you trying to tell us that the wealthy who make these decisions, people can't even afford to pay rent? I mean, what were the fucking governments doing bloody 25 years ago?
Right across the country, it doesn't matter whether you live in Sydney or you live in Broken Hill. You're getting very, very tight rental vacancy rates right across the country. And I must say, there is a real and genuine rental crisis out there. This is not just talk. It's happening. We're seeing it on the ground. We speak to a number of housing providers. They're reporting the same thing as well. This is a crisis.
Well, what about the WEF, Johnny, the World Economic Forum? Surely they're doing something that will help the poor people.
And it is time for the Hot Topic Buzz. So get this, the World Economic Forum is now looking to reduce ownership of private vehicles. Yes, the forum is claiming that this is a way to reduce global reliance on critical metals like cobalt and lithium as they make a push toward green energy. Dig in, give up your car, why don't you?
Yeah, the World Economic, not so much. So stick that idea where the sun doesn't shine.
Those are the words of Klaus Schwab, head of the World Economic Forum, in COVID-19, the Great Reset.
People assume we are just going back to the good old world which we had, and everything will be normal again in how we are used to normal, in the old-fashioned. This is, let's say, fiction.
Perhaps the bloody people who were in government 25 years ago should be hauled up and said, what the hell do you think you were doing? I reckon if you made politicians and all those bloody people accountable for the decisions they made 25 years down the track, maybe things would be done a little bit differently. Yeah, well, I suppose no one would do the bloody job, but that's not the point. Oh, there's no way the Queen was a lizard. Not these bunch of fucking billionaire bozos. So, Johnny, we are collectively dumb. We're a dumb bunch of bastards because we've just let this go on and on and on and no one's taken any firm control. So we probably deserve to be where we are now. I mean, the world's far worse off, Johnny, than what everyone was apparently striving for in the late 20th century. And here we are in a shitbox of bloody inflation and lowered living standards.